This is Dr. Scott Jutte in Dixon, Tennessee, and the question I had was questions about how do you know what to charge in your area. That's a great question. Ideally, thinking back when I started in practice, I guess my first guideline was some of the limiting fees on what insurance would charge. Blue Cross Blue Shield was our biggest carrier, so we went to them. We found out what our CPT codes were, and we would just see, give us a ballpark idea of what the allowed fees were. Now, obviously, we set our allowed fees, slightly higher than that, but that was the kind of our first guideline for deciding what to charge. A big concept that you want to wrap your head around as far as when it comes to your fees is you really have to know what your stop loss is, meaning what does it cost you to be in business? The reality of it is that if you're trying to sell Rolls Royces, you're not going to do it out in the rural farm country. That's not typically going to be your market. So you have to have an idea of what you're offering to your people, and it's got to be something that's going to fit into that area. Great example for me is I am about 45 miles out of Nashville. There's a big doctor in Nashville who's been advertising decompression for years, and I just know via the grapevine and several patients that his case fees run somewhere 7-8 grand. Now, his overhead is extremely different than mine, being in the Nashville, and I'm obviously out in the more rural area. So looking at my numbers and where my stop loss is, I can bring my fees down into the low 4,000s. So again, knowing what you can charge based on your stop loss, um, that's going to be your biggest determining factor. And honestly, that may change where you choose to practice based on what you have to make to create a profit. The big picture to realize is understand, Chevrolet or Ford doesn't go out and look around, well, what can I charge in my area? It knows that it costs X dollars to create this vehicle, and they know what their profit margin needs to be. So you have to understand, where's my profit margin? And then you have to build value in your cases to support those fees that you need to survive. So my advice, start with your insurance. That'll give you a good baseline. And then you have to take a very close look at your stop loss. And it really won't make a big deal where you are in practice once you know some of those numbers. So I hope that helps a lot. Have a great day.